Hello everyone, it's Michelle Angelique, Truth and Integrity Warrior, with the rise of a species, mankind. And today is exactly 1 year from the last time I spoke about this topic, and that is that it is my knowing, my understanding, my experience in life that we are in a AI machine mind virus system that takes from the soul force energy of the soul and needs to take it on the lowest vibration, meaning keeping us broken at all times, suffering, sadness. That's why the story never changes through millennia. And our consciousness is in this machine. And because we cannot see that, because we're in what you'd say like a petri dish trying to look outward, we can't see the big picture outside of ourselves. So it's been my experience to to know this information. It's not so much to collect it. I've been living a lot of experiences to let me know that this is what's going on. And so if you're watching my series, Rise of a Species, Mankind, you'll be able to see episode by episode my life experiences that have gotten me to the point that I'm at today with my understanding. And a year ago today, which was October 24th, tomorrow's my birthday, October 25th, I'll be 48. I find it pretty incredible that what I spoke about in the beginning was the darkness, the evil, the what rides inside of mankind, how we're being manipulated, how we're being used, the system that we're in, and how all the different evils encompass the dysfunction of our reality. I'll be sure to put a link on the bottom so that you can see the playlist from the introduction to A Rise of a Species, Mankind. And today, a year later, my life has changed since I started that. I have now come to the realization and understanding and experience, personal experience, that angels exist. And it might not be the same way that everybody understands them. Everybody understands them differently, just like everybody understands God differently. I want to give my experience that I've had in this past year. It has changed my life for the third time. My life has changed 3 different times where I had to sit down for a good, I don't know, maybe 2 hours just trying to process that reality is not what we've been taught it to be, or what we have been driven and directed for our attention to be away from what reality really is when it's right in our face. It's right in our face, and we can't see it. So angels and demons, they both exist in this reality, and it's different, a little different than what we understand in our television broadcasting, meaning our movies, our TV. And now I understand why they played them so much in our. They're just part of all cultures knowing. Yeah, all cultures know about angels and demons. Either you believe or don't believe, either you know or you don't know. People who say they believe something is because they're not really sure, but they feel like something could be. Those who know is because I have a personal one-on-one experience to say, this is what it is. And that is can develop, but the certainty is there. And I'm speaking with certainty. I'm speaking with absolute certainty. If you see my eyes moving in different directions, I got 2 cameras going on. I bought a new camera. I don't know how to work it. And just in case it doesn't work in this recording, I'm sticking with my cell phone. So I got it moving like this. So that's what that's. If you notice my eyes moving to 2 different locations. Now, bringing this information, let me tell you, I've had to really try to figure out how I'm going to present this. Because it's not easy. This is not an easy topic to bring out to people. It's not just about like, hey, guess what? Guess what I saw, or guess what I know, or guess what I experienced. Because the experience had to be so repetitious and in my face for me to recognize something's going on that's not normal. And because I followed that lead of that, there's a sequential process. There's a coincidence or coincidences, and there are circumstances that are correlating. I had to follow these leads that let me recognize that we got help. We got help. If you looked at my past videos, you'd see that it's just, I know that there's negatives that exist in this reality. They're fucking with mankind, and we got to recognize what's going on, and we got to get them out, period. Because they are in the energy field of the human being, and they dictate or I should say, they manipulate the emotions of the individual that's easily manipulated if they have within them, which we all do have emotions that are not balanced. We have fears and hates and shames, pities, sorrows. Now I understand why it is so important to take that emotion, recognize it's there, acknowledge, and that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to acknowledge we got these different feelings, right? Because we're letting our brain dictate us, and we just hide away what we got in our brain of our heart, because our heart thinks. Our heart is connected to the soul that we don't know we have, and we don't even know how that soul works. And that is what I've learned in this past year. It has transformed my life. I am not the same person who started back a year ago. Doesn't mean I'm worse. It only means I have advanced in my awareness to be able to bring it to you, so that we feel that we got some kind of, what's the right word? That we have some kind of an advantage, because we're getting our shit broken down as mankind. We're getting broken down in all kinds of ways with the technology that is this, a lot of you might not know, but it's nanobiotechnology, meaning live technology in the body, and it is causing transformation of the human being. And a lot of people don't know about that. I don't want to say I specialize in that, but I have 4 years of personal experience of how to break that down within the body, how to repair, restore, regenerate from what it does to the genetics, what it does to the DNA. And from witches and demons and evil spirits and ghosts, and you name it, anything that's negative out there that influences the well-being of man, that information is out there. But we're like, well, what does that have to do with reality? What does it have to do with reality? It is the invisible in our physical world that we don't pay no attention to, because we've been taught to put away our attention, that it doesn't exist. And that's like saying a cell phone. I'm about to grab a cell phone, but it's right in front of me. But when we have a cell phone, it has physicality. And in that physicality, that's not the operations of the cell phone. The cell phone is what's going on the inside, the invisible, the quantum, the part that moves electrically and makes connections on the outside field that we're in. And so those who manage our world, those who run our world, make sure that in education, in medicine, in politics, in you name it, they're heads of one mind, and that mind is to make sure that we don't pay attention to what's right in front of us. What's right in front of us is that the invisible moves from one space to another. So we have something invisible moving from one physical location to another physical location, be it a cell phone call, be it Bluetooth, where we're sending huge, large files from one machine invisibly through the air, boom, to another machine. That shit's right in front of our face. And we can't see that there's some operations going on that we can't see. So technology only can mimic and copy what is natural to the nature of man, of reality. It can only copy. So in reality, what is into our natural nature is for the soul to be able to project, feel, send, connect. We don't recognize that. We don't recognize that the soul has operations, and that operation comes from the heart, literally, heart. So the brain of the soul is the heart, and the brain of the body is the brain. So the mind is how the soul, and you can use any words you want, but these are the words that I use. The mind is how we navigate the soul. Kind of like when you navigate the mouse on a computer, you want to make sure that you get things in the right direction. The mind takes the soul into the direction that we want it to go in, except we don't direct the soul anywhere because we don't even pay any attention to it. We don't even know we have it. So if we don't know we have something, when we sense something, we feel something, we intuitively connect with information, but we don't pay it no mind because we don't know that the soul is operating. And this is what this is about. This is more about the fact that angels and demons exist is because we are working with two forces that are, and then we're in the middle, and they influence the mind, the attention of an individual. Both sides can do it. I've watched this past year. It has blown my mind what I've seen. I've documented it. I've written it down. Time, date, situation. Time, date, situation. I've taken cell phone pictures or pictures of them. I've documented so that there can be a correlation and a realization, or to be able to recognize that when there's a pattern of something continuously happening, there's something there to pay attention to. So it was first just for myself, and then it became so incredible that I need to start holding on to this evidence for a future reference. And that future reference is about to be the beginning of my new journey. And this new journey for me is helping people recognize these two sides, how they work outside of this field of reality. What have we got in this field of reality within our body, within our physicality, within the soul? How do they both work? And how we're going to organize and synchronize the brain with the heart. So just like a modem, if those lights don't light up, that shit ain't working. There's no connectivity. And that's what we got going on. We have no connectivity within the mind, within the brain, the brain, our logic, and what we feel with our heart. So because we have the brain operation of the brain, we have the thinking operation of how we feel. It's just a different operation of how it works. It's how we feel. When they are synced up, our intuition and the abilities of our soul now lead and take hold. And now what that means is extraordinary. That's what I've been living. I have changed my intuition, meaning my foresight, my sight, which they call the pineal gland, the ability to be able to see without your eyes, with knowing without being told, sensing what is in the information field that is all around us. We live in a field of information. And this field of information is what you would compare the internet in a PC to all of that information in one space and be able to pull resources of information. Well, the soul has that ability. So if we just working on the physicality in our brain with our logic, and we disregard how we've been taught to disregard how the heart works with the soul, well, the soul's the one that makes the connectivity on the outside, and the brain makes the connectivity on what is logical to pick up, move, carry, drop. Oh, I can't pick it up, it's too heavy, so we need something else to pick it up. What I'm trying to say is there are two different mechanics, but when we get those mechanics working and sync together, we got something going on. We got something that ain't gonna be able to break us down. Between this technology, this nanobiotechnology that I'm talking to you about, because what happens is this nanobiotechnology that's being injected into the bodies of men and women right now. Look it up. If you want to know what's going in here, you will see that there's technology in there. Why is there technology? Because you need software to connect with the hardware that's been in our food system called nanobiotechnology. So that nanobiotechnology has been in our medicine, in our food for so many years now. There's so much evidence out there saying that it's happening, it's being done. But when you have the hardware with the software linking up two antennas, then you can manage the brain and its direction and how it's navigating and what it's going to think, but you cannot override the heart. And so once our heart is ready, and once our heart is in sync with the brain, there ain't no fucking overriding. There ain't no override. The only thing that's managing is our intuition, the feeling of the sensors of our soul. And that changes the game. This is what's going to change the game. And so how do we get to that point? How do we get to the point where the soul syncs up with the logic of the brain? A lot of you guys know that I went through a journey through a twin soul relationship with David. I told him, I promised him I wasn't going to talk about him anymore on my videos, but I just need to express where or how I got this experience. David's a good human being, don't get me wrong. I love him. I love David. I love him unconditionally. But he has been through so much tragedy that all he knew how to do was tragic to others. And so I lived that tragedy with him, and I came back home with that and had to process that tragedy within my heart. I was so heartbroken that it was one thing after another thing that I had to recognize I was already broken inside, and he just reminded me of what I needed to heal within me, like a mirror. So twin soul relationships are the same soul, which is hard to believe. Trust me, it's hard to believe that that's real. But there was my path to figure this out. That a soul can, it's like a particle. It can be in two places at one time. I mean, we got that registered. So the soul can be in two places at one time. And I is to one degree, David's to another degree. And the only reason I know this is because we are identical. Whatever I'm going through, he's going through. We just at different degrees. And so if I'm having heartache, it's because it's something that I already have that I have to fix within me. And so this experience, this journey with David, I must say that he's doing much better. He's in a rehab. He's been in there almost 2 months, and he's been off of drugs, and he's reorganizing himself for his well-being. So there is hope. There is hope for everyone. And going back, I had to go through what is ego and what was in my ego. And it was jealousy and hate and rage. And I had to break it down. I had to go through loneliness, and I had to break it down. I had to go with rejection and go in and see, where did I have these feelings of rejection? And I had to break it down. And I had to see abandonment that I didn't even know I had. So, all of these feelings, they're lying dormant within us because we don't have nobody agitating or aggravating or moving our dirty waters that we might have deep within our emotional body. And that emotional body, we're talking about something magnetic, it's electric, and it's real. And it dysfunctions the soul. Just like we would dysfunction a motor, it's like, why ain't that motor working? Well, the fucking lights ain't working. And so if the lights ain't tapping in and we don't get that connectivity, we ain't get no connection. So what I'm talking about is that modem within ourselves is these emotions, if they do not get recognized, moved and transferred and put in the fucking trash, just like we take out an old file from the computer that's fucking shit up and it's messing with the rest of the operations within the computer, within our computer. Well, what do? We move it with our mouse, we drag it, and we drop it in the trash, we dispose of it. We don't recognize it. That is a copy of what is natural to nature, and that is, we must recognize we have an emotion that's dysfunctioning the operation within the system that is older than the past and the subconscious, and then we have to recognize it's there so that we can just drag it out. I'm not saying you got to remember the whole past and live all that pain and suffering. It's just recognizing that, I'll use myself as an example, that if I have a feeling of abandonment because I feel abandoned from David, that abandonment is mine, and where does it come from? And I sat and I thought, my mom, I didn't have no mom. I had a mom, but I didn't have no mom, like with me. I didn't grow up with a mom, and I don't know about a daddy. I never seen no daddy in my life. So yeah, I got abandonment issues, and then I had to recognize that I have this feeling and I want to let it go. And so in other videos I show where I let it go. I was able to remove physically an emotion. And I won't do it all over again right here. I'll put it in where you can see the operation, but the operation is the same. So what I'm talking about is the operation. So every time I went through these emotions, then I had to recognize where the file was, accept that it's there, because if I don't accept it's there, I ain't gonna fucking look for it. I'm just gonna ignore it. And it's causing a problem. It's a corrupt file. So let's pull that out. We see it, acknowledge it, and say, I let it go. But here's the thing. When we let it go, it's like, where's it going? When you take it to the trash on the computer, when you take a corrupt file to the trash or something you don't want, it has to go in a specific place. And this is where the understanding of what this angelic flow of energy, let's just say it's a divine flow of energetic information. Yeah, because people might be put off by something being called angels, right? What I had to understand is there's a current of energy, there's a current of flow, there's a current of information that I'm going to call divine because it's in my best interest and it's in the best interest of mankind. I'll put it like that. And it gives a shit. Put it like that. It gives a shit. It cares. It has this vibration that is higher than ours, that we're living in right now, and higher than that low vibration of when things are down and we're sad and we're depressed and we can't make it and life sucks. Those are two different vibrations. We got a high vibration and a low vibration. And here in our reality, we got them all jumbled up and mixed up, and we don't even know that there's a current of flow to flow in and recognize it's there. Take that pain that we have that's a low vibration, that's an emotion, release it to the divine. And if you can't release it to the divine, then you release it to God. If you can't release it to God, then you release it to the good of love. I mean, find the words that you need, but this flow exists. This flow of energy exists. And when we release it there, that corrupt file of that emotion, what ends up happening is it literally will change you in feeling. So as I was there and I was crying through all of these different emotions and experiences, I recognized that there was a pattern and it was working every time. It was working every time. So when I hit my knees to the ground and I couldn't take this fucking feeling no more, because that's what we get. We get to where we can't take this shit no more. Whatever feeling it is, if we lose a loved one, if we're in heartache, if we just can't take life any fucking more, but we have to be here. You know, we still gotta be here. We still gotta live. We still gotta fucking make dinner. We still got shit to pay. We still gotta get up tomorrow morning. So what do I do with myself, with what I got? I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. And it's that surrender. And I'm a fucking warrior. I don't surrender. So that shit was fucking hard for me. I do not fucking surrender. Period. But what I had to learn was this surrendering was not I surrender and I fail myself. It's I surrender the bullshit, the pain. I let it fucking go. This shit wasn't meant to be mine. But because it is, I gotta recognize it's there and move it. Because I keep passing it and paying it forward and not recognizing it. So this surrender is being able to be flexible, to reposition the self into a new position, to move forward, to be able to get to where we're trying to go, because we can think what we want is what we think we are. You know, I'm a great human being. I do the right thing. I go to work. I pay my bills. I'm this and I'm that. I got a great fucking credit score. But inside, we feel I'm a fucking piece of shit. I hate myself. I'm fucking not worthy. I am ugly. I hate my ass. Whatever. I mean, we have all these negatives that we feel because it's literally somewhere. It's in the heart. And it's real. That recording, that information is what's affecting the field. The logic isn't. You can't manifest with the brain. You manifest when the heart connects with the brain, and together it's like boom, like a fucking laser, like a laser. And that's where that modem part comes up, that synchronization. But it will happen as we heal the heart. It all automatically organizes with the brain. It's simultaneous. You want to do nothing to the brain. It's just recognizing we got old files in our subconscious that we call in the mind, right? It's in the mind. It's in the subconscious in the mind. Everything is working together as one. It's kind of like two sides to a coin. It's one coin, but it got two sides. And so the brain and this heart that we have, we got to synchronize it. So when I talk about why we got to get these emotions out so that new information of our awareness can now project. Because I want to go back to I love myself instead of, so now I'm not just thinking I love myself, I feel I love myself. But before I would say, oh, I love myself, but as I'm having a drink, it's like I fucking can't stand myself. I hate what I've done. I don't say those words, but those are the fucking words that rumble through our brain. And it's rumbling through our heart. And it's projected into the field. And this is why we cannot connect with the reality that we want to create. And those who run our reality know this shit. And they do not work on the vibration of a higher vibration of care for mankind. But because we live in these political sides and we have, I want this color and I like that color, I root for this team and I root for that team, those are part of the bullshit that we got to break down because our fucking reality is breaking down around us. And all that we can do is start trying to build up within ourselves. And so this information that I'm giving is for that self-building. So while the fucking world collapses, let's start building up right here. Start building up right here because we got to start building up our body so that it matches the soul. We can start building up our soul so that it can match our body. So my body's been many different ways, many different sizes. And I can say I've never been stronger and better than where I'm at now today with this understanding, with this awareness. And I'm about to be half of 100 years old. That shit's awesome to say. I got 2 more years, I'll be half 100. And I expect to get better every fucking year because I'm recognizing and understanding that the only reason we're degrading is because we are being degraded. We are being degraded. What we know to be true are half-truths. What we understand is half of the reality that actually is unfolding in front of us. We're watching reality change in front of us. Now, a lot of y'all might have your own personal experiences with angels and demons. I could never say angels before because I didn't know shit about angels. My 11-year-old daughter asked me, Mom, you believe in angels? And this is before I had these experiences, right? Before I knew now what I'm dealing with. I knew now that there's 2 sides. And we got a good force working with us. My daughter asked me, Mom, you believe in angels? And asked me why she asked me, I don't know. But I can't lie to my kids, right? I can't lie to my kids. I don't tell them that there's Santa Claus. I don't tell them there's an Easter Bunny. They didn't grow up like that. So my kids know that what's coming out of my mouth is because that's what I know right now. This is what I know to be true right now. And they know I'm not going to sit there and lie to them. So what I had to tell my daughter is, man, I don't know no angels. Never seen no angels. They look nice on TV. They got nice looking wings. They're cute to look at. Meaning they're nice to look at, right? It's a good theory, and I don't even like that word theory, but it's a good theory to say that there's these good guys out there. But my life's been so fucked up growing up, watching shit fucking just break down the soul of mankind around me, to me, our world. How could there fucking be a good guy out there watching this shit happen? I'm telling you. In 2019, I went through some shit that was so hard that I don't know what was harder. Going through this shit with David, getting my heart broken and trying to fucking pick up my pieces, or going through becoming homeless twice and trying to get out of homelessness and not being able to feed my kids and just shit happening. Just shit happening so bad around me that it was gonna put me in jail. It was gonna fucking put me in jail because I was gonna lose my shit. And each time I had to fucking overcome it. It just keep fucking overcoming. 2019 was like the year of stay out of fucking jail. Don't lose your shit because shit's so fucking rough. I was gonna break somebody. I'll tell you like this. I had to go hit a pole repetitively with my arms and my fists and my forearms and my shoulders came out black and blue just so that I wouldn't go hurt another human being. And I'm not talking about my kids, I'm talking about people who are fucking deserving of a beatdown. You know, nothing like a good healthy fucking beatdown and wake up, get up, all right. You don't do that shit again, but that don't exist no more. People don't know consequence. There's no more consequences. People just are allowed to do whatever they want to do, and that's a fucking setup too. So break down our society of our children, so they don't recognize discipline, so they don't recognize that we have standards, that there's things to live by, codes, code of honor. So our world is being broken down, and I have never seen, going back, I have never seen no angels. No angels ever made no sense to me. Hold on.